There are tons of awesome games to play right now, but that doesn't mean we should forget those old gems that gave us unparalleled enjoyment back in the day. In this video, I'll be showcasing some of the best games from 2014 that are still worth playing right now. These titles have stood the test of time and offer incredible experiences even today. And hey, don't forget to let us know your favorites in the comments below. Let's get started. First up, we have The Evil Within. If you're into horror games and you haven't played The Evil Within yet, you're missing out big time. Released in 2014, this gem from the twisted mind of Shinji Mikami, the guy behind Resident Evil, is like a love letter to survival horror fans. It's got everything: creepy environments, intense combat, and a storyline that's as twisted as a pretzel. So, why revisit it now? Well, for starters, the atmosphere is still top-notch. The game throws you into these grotesque, nightmarish settings that make your skin crawl. Whether it's a blood-soaked village or a haunted hospital, every location is meticulously designed to freak you out. And let's not forget the enemies. Monstrous creatures that seem to come straight from your worst nightmares. Seriously, the first time you encounter the Keeper, you'll probably need a new pair of pants. But it's not just about the scares. The gameplay is solid, with a mix of stealth, exploration, and combat that keeps you on your toes. Resources are scarce, so you've got to be smart about when to fight and when to sneak past enemies. And trust me, the game doesn't hold your hand. It's challenging in the best possible way, making every victory feel hard-earned and satisfying. Plus, with a sequel out there, it's a great time to dive back in and experience the origins of Detective Sebastian Castellanos' nightmare. The Evil Within might be a decade old, but its ability to deliver a heart-pounding horror experience is timeless. Now, if you're in the mood for something a bit more cerebral, The Vanishing of Ethan Carter is where it's at. This first-person mystery game from 2014 is all about atmosphere and storytelling. You play as Paul Prospero, a paranormal investigator exploring the gorgeous yet eerie Red Creek Valley to find out what happened to a missing boy named Ethan Carter. One of the game's biggest strengths is its visuals. Even 10 years later, the game's stunning landscapes and detailed environments are jaw-dropping. It's one of those games where you'll find yourself stopping just to take in the view. And that's not something you can say about many games. But it's not just a pretty face, because the story is engaging, filled with twists and turns that keep you guessing until the very end. It's a slow burn, but the payoff is worth it. You'll piece together the narrative by finding clues and solving puzzles, which are cleverly designed to make you think without being frustrating. And let's talk about the atmosphere. The Vanishing of Ethan Carter nails that feeling of isolation and mystery. The ambient sounds, the hauntingly beautiful soundtrack, and the overall sense of unease make for an immersive experience. It's like stepping into a dark, twisted fairy tale where not everything is as it seems. Even if you've played it before, this game is worth revisiting. There's always something new to discover, some detail you might have missed the first time around. And if you haven't played it yet, well, there's no time like the present to dive into this haunting mystery. Up next, we have Alien Isolation. Now, I know you may be wondering why the first 3 games all fall into the horror genre, but please bear with me because this is the last horror game on the list. Alien Isolation is also one of the must-play old horror video games because of its unique features. Set 15 years after the events of the original Alien movie, you play as Amanda Ripley, daughter of Ellen Ripley, as she investigates her mother's disappearance. And surprise, surprise, you end up on a space station with a xenomorph. Fun times, right? The game's greatest achievement is how well it captures the look and feel of the original film. The retro-futuristic design, the claustrophobic hallways, the constant sense of dread, well, it's all here. And the xenomorph itself? Absolutely terrifying. This isn't a game where you can just blast your way through enemies. The xenomorph is a relentless, intelligent predator that hunts you throughout the game. Your best bet is to hide and hope it doesn't find you, which leads to some of the most nerve-wracking moments in gaming. But it's not all hiding and running. The game also has a solid crafting system that lets you create tools and weapons to help you survive. Whether it's a noisemaker to distract the alien or a flamethrower to scare it off temporarily, you'll need to use every trick in the book to make it out alive. And let's not forget the story. It's engaging and does a great job of expanding the Alien universe. Amanda Ripley is a compelling character, and her journey is filled with tension, scares, and some genuinely emotional moments. Alien Isolation is a masterclass in survival horror and a fitting tribute to one of the greatest sci-fi horror films of all time. Moving forward, we have Dragon Age Inquisition. When it comes to epic RPGs, this game still stands tall, even after a decade. BioWare crafted a game that combines deep storytelling, complex characters, and a massive world to explore. You play as the Inquisitor, tasked with saving the world from a massive tear in the sky known as the Breach. It's classic fantasy stuff, but BioWare's storytelling chops make it something special. The choices you make throughout the game have real consequences, shaping the world and the characters around you. And speaking of characters, Inquisition has some of the best. From the grumpy but lovable Iron Bull to the wise and witty Dorian, the companions you gather are a big part of what makes the game so memorable. The world of Thedas is another highlight. It's huge, filled with diverse regions to explore. There are countless side quests, secrets to uncover, and lore to dive into. It's a game that rewards exploration and curiosity. Combat is also a blast. You can switch between characters on the fly, giving you a lot of flexibility in how you approach battles. And let's not forget the visuals. The art direction is top-notch, and the environments are beautifully crafted. It's a game that's just as fun to look at as it is to play. Up next, we have Mario Kart 8. If there's one game that proves you don't need a complicated storyline or gritty realism to have a blast, it's this one. Released for the Wii U in 2014 and later revamped as Mario Kart 8 Deluxe for the Switch, this is the game that should be recommended for those who are looking for kart racing fun. But what makes Mario Kart 8 so special? For starters, the gameplay is smooth as butter. The controls are tight, the karts handle beautifully, and the track design is some of the best in the series. And speaking of tracks, Mario Kart 8 has a fantastic selection. There are classic tracks from previous games like Rainbow Road and Yoshi Circuit, as well as brand new ones that are just as memorable. The addition of anti-gravity sections adds a new twist to the racing, letting you drive on walls and ceilings for even more chaos. The game also features a colorful, vibrant graphics pop off the screen, and the attention to detail is incredible, especially the cheering crowds and dynamic weather effects. But what really sets this game apart is how much fun it is with friends. Whether you're playing split screen on the couch or online with players from around the world, it's a game that brings people together. The competitive spirit, the laughter, the friendly or not so friendly trash talk, it's all part of the Mario Kart experience. Up next is Far Cry 4. Far Cry 4 dropped us into the stunning, chaotic world of Kairat back in 2014, and it's still an absolute thrill ride. You play as AJ Gale, a guy just trying to fulfill his mother's last wish, but instead you get sucked into a civil war led by the eccentric pink-suited villain, Pagan Min. The plot is a wild ride, but the real star here is the open world itself. Kairat is a mountainous paradise filled with things to do. One minute you're sneaking through enemy camps, and the next, you're riding an elephant into battle. The sheer variety of activities is mind-boggling. The game's visuals are still impressive, with lush landscapes and detailed environments that make exploration a joy. The combat is just as engaging, allowing you to approach situations in countless ways. Plus, the co-op mode, which was really fun in its time, lets you bring a friend along for the madness. As of today, I'm not really sure if there's still someone you can play with in co-op mode. However, if you can't find anyone to play with, the game is still as fun as ever. Next on the list, we have Wolfenstein: The New Order. In the game, you step into the boots of BJ Blazkowicz, a grizzled war hero fighting against a technologically advanced Nazi regime in an alternate history where the Nazis won World War II. The game's story is surprisingly deep, with well-developed characters and emotional moments that hit hard. The alternate history setting is rich with detail, providing a unique backdrop that keeps you invested in the world. And for its gameplay, The New Order is a masterclass in FPS design. The gunplay is satisfying, with a variety of weapons that pack a punch. You can dual-wield shotguns, sneak around with a silenced pistol, or go full Rambo with an assault rifle. The level design is another highlight. Each area is meticulously crafted, offering multiple paths and secrets to discover. Visually, the game still holds up. The graphics are sharp, and the attention to detail in the environments is impressive. Wolfenstein: The New Order is undoubtedly more than just a great shooter. It's a complete package with a fantastic story, tight gameplay, and memorable moments. Up next, we've got Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor. This game was a game changer when it launched, introducing the groundbreaking Nemesis system that added a whole new level of depth to enemy interactions. Set in the rich lore of Tolkien's Middle-earth, you play as Talion, a ranger with a vendetta, who gets resurrected with wraith-like abilities. Cool, right? The game's open-world design is nothing short of spectacular. Mordor isn't just a desolate wasteland because it's filled with diverse environments. Exploring these areas is a treat, and the dynamic weather and day-night cycle add to the immersion. But let's be real, the real stars here are the orcs. The Nemesis system is what makes Shadow of Mordor truly unique. Every orc you encounter has a name, personality, and memory of their encounters with you. Kill an orc and they might come back with a grudge. Lose to one and they'll get promoted, becoming stronger and taunting you in future battles. This creates a personal and evolving story of revenge and rivalry that's different for every player. Combat in Shadow of Mordor is a blast. It's a fluid mix of stealth, parkour, and brutal melee attacks. As you progress, you unlock powerful abilities that make you feel like an unstoppable force. Revisiting Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor this year is surely a trip down memory lane that's worth every second. The innovative gameplay, compelling story, and immersive world make it a standout title even a decade later. Plus, it's a perfect game to play while rewatching the Lord of the Rings movies or catching up on the latest Middle-earth series. Sliding into the next game, we have Assassin's Creed Unity. Now, I know what you're thinking. Unity had a rough launch with all those bugs and glitches. But guess what? Most of that's been patched up, and what's left is a game that's absolutely worth diving back into. Set during the French Revolution, you play as Arnaud Dorian, a young assassin with a personal vendetta. The game throws you into a recreation of Paris. The city is a living, breathing masterpiece, with every cobblestone and gargoyle meticulously crafted. The attention to detail is insane, making it one of the most beautiful and immersive settings in the series. The gameplay in Unity focuses heavily on parkour and stealth. The new parkour system allows for smoother and more fluid movement, letting you navigate the city with grace. Stealth has also been revamped, making sneaking around and planning your assassinations more satisfying. One of Unity's highlights back when it was released was its cooperative multiplayer. Teaming up with friends to tackle heists and assassination missions is a blast. The missions are designed to encourage teamwork and strategic planning, adding a fresh layer of fun to the traditional single-player experience. Plus, there's a ton of side content, from solving murder mysteries to collecting artifacts that will keep you busy for hours. And as mentioned earlier, the post-launch fixes and updates have polished the game into a fantastic experience. If you haven't tried this game yet, maybe you should give it a shot. Up next, we have Bayonetta 2. Released in 2014 for the Wii U and later for the Switch, Bayonetta 2 is an absolute example of a true action gaming. You step into the stilettos of Bayonetta, the stylish, sassy witch with a flair for the dramatic and a penchant for punishing angels and demons alike. The game's combat is its crowning glory. It's fast-paced, fluid, and incredibly satisfying. You've got an arsenal of weapons from guns to swords to whips, and the combos you can pull off are nothing short of spectacular. Dodging at the last second activates witch time, slowing down enemies and giving you a chance to unleash even more devastating attacks. It's a dance of destruction that's as beautiful to watch as it is to execute. Visually, Bayonetta 2 is stunning. The character designs, the elaborate environments, the over-the-top set pieces, everything is crafted with an eye for detail and style. Whether you're battling on the side of a skyscraper or surfing down a raging river, the game's spectacle never lets up. The game's story is just as wild as its gameplay. It's a roller coaster of epic battles, mythical creatures, and witty banter. Bayonetta's personality shines through in every cutscene, making her one of the most memorable characters in gaming. The voice acting is top-notch, and the narrative keeps you hooked with its twists and turns. Its stylish combat, gorgeous visuals, and unforgettable female protagonist make it a must-play. If you've never experienced the magic of Bayonetta, there's no better time to dive in. And if you have, well, it's always worth another playthrough to relive the excitement. Moving forward, we have Transistor. This game is a beautiful blend of action, strategy, and storytelling, brought to you by the talented folks behind Bastion. Set in a stunning cyberpunk city, you play as Red, a well-known performing artist who wields a mysterious talking sword known as the Transistor. The first thing you'll fall in love with is the art style. Transistor's visual is outstanding, with a hand-painted aesthetic that makes every scene look like a piece of art. The city of Cloudbank is a vibrant, ever-changing place, filled with neon lights and futuristic architecture. The gameplay in Transistor is a unique mix of real-time action and strategic planning. Now, you can hack and slash your way through enemies in real time, or pause the action to plan your moves with the Transistor's tactical mode. This gives you the freedom to play the game your way, combining fast-paced combat with thoughtful strategy. The story is another highlight. It's a deeply personal tale of loss, identity, and love. The relationship between Red and the Transistor is beautifully portrayed, with the sword providing narration and commentary throughout your journey. And let's not forget the soundtrack. Darren Korb's music is an integral part of the experience, with beautiful tracks that perfectly complement the game's mood and setting. Playing Transistor this year is like revisiting an old friend. Its unique gameplay, captivating story, and gorgeous visuals make it a game that stands the test of time. Next on our list, we have This War of Mine. This game offers a stark and sobering take on war, focusing on the civilian experience rather than the front lines. You manage a group of survivors trying to stay alive in a besieged city, facing tough moral choices and harsh realities. You'll need to scavenge for supplies, craft tools, and fortify your shelter to keep your group safe. Resources are scarce, and every decision can have serious consequences. The game's art style adds to the bleak atmosphere. It's a grim, grayscale world that reflects the dire circumstances of the characters. And the hand-drawn visuals and moody lighting create a sense of despair that's palpable. The sound design is equally effective, with ambient noises and haunting music that immerse you in the game's world. The narrative in this game is driven by the choices you make. Each survivor has their own backstory and personality, and their fate is in your hands. The game doesn't shy away from difficult topics, forcing you to confront the harsh realities of war and its impact on ordinary people. It's really a deeply emotional experience that stays with you long after you finish playing. With the ongoing military world events that we have right now, this game is a powerful reminder of the human cost of conflict. Its challenging gameplay and thought-provoking themes make this game one of the must-play on this list. Up next is Infamous Second Son. This game lets you step into the shoes of Delson Rowe, a young graffiti artist who discovers he has superhuman abilities. Set in a beautifully recreated Seattle, you get to explore the city and use your powers to fight against an oppressive government. The first thing that stands out in Second Son is the freedom of movement. Delson's powers allow you to zip around the city with ease, whether you're dashing up buildings or gliding through the air. The traversal is fluid and exhilarating, making exploration a joy. Seattle is a vibrant and detailed playground, filled with side missions, collectibles, and dynamic events. Combat in Second Son is fast-paced, and it was really satisfying. Delson can absorb different powers from other conduits, giving you a variety of abilities to play with. Each power set feels unique and offers different ways to approach combat. Whether you're blasting enemies with smoke, zipping around with neon, or summoning concrete constructs, the game keeps things fresh and exciting. The story's engaging, with a focus on Delson's journey from rebellious artist to reluctant hero. The characters are well written and voiced, with Troy Baker delivering a standout performance as Delson. The narrative explores themes of freedom, responsibility, and the consequences of power. Plus, the game's karma system lets you choose between being a hero or an anti-hero, adding replay value. If the fast-paced action of Second Son isn't your cup of tea, then I hope the high-octane, physics-based racing of Trials Fusion will grab your attention. This game is all about precision, skill, and a whole lot of trial and error. The game drops you into a futuristic world where you, as a fearless rider, tackle insane obstacle courses on your trusty motorbike. The game's core mechanic is simple. Get from point A to point B as fast as possible. But don't let that fool you. This game is deceptively challenging. Each track is a maze of ramps, jumps, and crazy obstacles that require split-second timing and razor-sharp reflexes. One of the coolest things about Trials Fusion is the satisfaction you get from nailing a perfect run. You'll crash and burn a lot, but when you finally conquer that tough section with a flawless performance, it feels absolutely amazing. The game's physics engine is spot on, plus the control scheme is tight and responsive, which is crucial for a game where precision is everything. Trials Fusion also shines in its community features. The track editor is robust and allows players to create and share their own insane courses. There are some seriously creative and downright diabolical tracks out there, so you'll never run out of new challenges. Plus, competing against your friends' times and climbing the leaderboards makes the game even more challenging. If you already played this game before and you've created some crazy tracks, let us know in the comments. Last but not least, we have DriveClub. If you're a fan of beautiful cars, stunning environments, and intense racing action, DriveClub is a game you can't miss. The first thing that hits you about DriveClub is its breathtaking visuals. Even after many years, this game still looks fantastic. The attention to detail on the cars and tracks is incredible, with gorgeous lighting and weather effects that add a dynamic element to every race. Gameplay in DriveClub strikes a great balance between arcade and simulation racing. The cars handle realistically, but there's enough accessibility to keep things fun and engaging for all skill levels. Each car feels unique, and mastering the different driving styles is a satisfying challenge. The track variety in DriveClub is another highlight. You'll race through a diverse range of locations, each with its own unique challenges and breathtaking scenery. Even today, DriveClub remains one of the top-tier racing games, offering a thrilling and visually stunning experience. If you're looking for an alternative racing game, you can't go wrong with DriveClub. There are still lots of notable games from 2014 that deserves more attention, and one of them is Watch Dogs. Now, this game had its fair share of hype before launch, thanks to an epic first trailer. But when it dropped, some players felt it didn't quite live up to the promise. However, kudos to the developers. They rolled out updates addressing many of the game's issues. The game has improved a lot. So, diving into Watch Dogs now is a much better experience, and it definitely won't disappoint. There you have it, some of the best games that are still worth playing even after all these years. If you enjoyed watching this video, please consider liking and subscribing to my channel. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.